visiting the Upper Perk Garden Club's Butterfly Garden, which is conveniently located along the walking paths at the Upper Perk Y. As you probably know and are seeing in your own yards, the population of native insects, including butterflies, continues to decline drastically. This is one of the reasons that 4 years ago, our garden club decided that one of our projects would be the creation of a butterfly habitat. Also, we wanted to demonstrate how easy it is to do this in a small area by selecting the right host and nectar plants. So join me now on a short video tour of the garden.
We'd like to show you the garden through the seasons. You'll see that we plant flowers that bloom at different times, so the butterflies always have nectar. In May, volunteers prepare the garden. Many of the plants are perennials, but we also plant some annuals, such as zinnia. Flowers that bloom in May include columbine, pussytoes, and violets. Violets are a host plant for the variegated fritillary butterfly. They make a good ground cover too. Butterflies benefit from dense plantings, reducing the effort of having to expend energy to go distances between plants. Also, this cuts down on weeding as plants mature. Zinnias have a long flowering season from July into September if weather conditions are right. We grow State Fair or Cut and Come Again because they have a wide open flower structure, allowing the butterflies access to nectar.
This is Mexican sunflower or Tithonia. It is a great plant to grow because it starts blooming in mid to late August, and it provides a source of nectar to the migrating monarchs.
Here are some other flowers that continue to bloom in the fall. And in the fall, it's a good idea to leave stalks on the plants. They provide seed for the birds and home to insects that may live in the stalks or in the ground underneath. And in the winter, the garden rests to get ready for the next growing season. You often see butterflies and moths flitting around from one flower to the next. They are feeding on nectar plants. They also need host plants that they will lay their eggs on. A good example is the monarch butterfly, who enjoys the nectar from many of the flowers, but when it comes time for laying eggs, they will search out plants in the milkweed family to begin a new generation. An active butterfly garden needs host plants in it or nearby. Surrounding our garden here at the YMCA are butterfly weed and milkweed for the monarchs. Willows are a host for the tiger swallowtail. Viburnum hosts hummingbird clearwing moths. We have pussytoes in our garden, which are host plants for the American lady. Adult butterflies also need nectar plants for food. Many of the plants in our garden are nectar plants. Here are some examples.
I'm Gary Freed, and we're here at the Upper Perkiomen Valley Y at the Upper Perkiomen Valley Garden Club Pollinator Garden. And what a beautiful garden it is. I say pollinator garden because its main purpose is to feed insects, primarily butterflies and bees. As you can see, we have these beautiful zinnias, and some people think you need them just to give you a big flash of color, and insects flying around are drawn to the color. And then we have the other plants, which I suppose smell better. Mountain mint, in my opinion, is one of the very best nectaring plants.
Oh.
If you look carefully, you'll see it's covered with honeybees.
Yeah, definitely.
And often butterflies are here. And the smaller butterflies, like the hair streaks seem to really like this plant. And then we have late boneset, called late boneset for a reason, because it blooms late when a lot of other things starting to die off. It attracts butterflies and gives them plenty to eat. This other purplish flower is anise hyssop, and as you can see, it's covered with bumblebees and some honeybees and other things. So let's turn our attention to butterflies. Perhaps the most common one we see are these white guys flying around. They are cabbage whites. Very common. After a while, people tend to overlook them, but they are, in their own respect, very beautiful critters. And talking about beautiful, people regard their gardens as being beautiful. One of the beautiful things about this one is the butterflies. So again, if you wanted to do this, these are the plants you need to focus on, I think. In particular, the verbena, the mountain mint, the zinnias. Then we have the big orange guys back there, which are Tithonia, the Mexican sunflowers, and Joe Pye weed, and we have asters here. Now, to the butterflies. Oh, for sure it's orange. Did you see that sort of a flash of orange when she flew? Oh, I do see the clear wing moth.
And they spread. They look like at first glance, like a bumblebee.
Zabulon skipper. It's primarily yellow with some medium brown on it. That's a male. And you can see near the front of the wing is a darker area with a yellow spot in it. That's very distinctive. No other skipper looks like that. Some skippers are very difficult to identify because they're similar looking to other things, but nothing else really looks like a male Zabulon. The female, if we can find one, is really interesting because she doesn't look at all like the male. She's much darker, a little bit larger, with white markings instead of yellow markings. And in good sunlight, you can even see a blue tinge on her wing. That is the female Zabulon.
Oh, quite different.
Another nice thing about the Zabulons, they do a very interesting courtship dance. We may even see it today. The female will get in, on a flower like that and start fluttering her wings. That's sort of a signal to the male. The male will come up behind her, he'll go to the left and he'll dance, flutter his wings, then he'll go to the right and flutter his wings, and it's really neat to see. The wings smaller, and it's just, to me, it looks different.
It's a more delicate looking, and What is it? This is the least. The little one?
The real little
No,
one.
that's why, just going by size, I thought it was least.
And again, when you see it well, it's got a very light body color. Oh, here's a closer look at the pearl crescent. Yes. I have silver spotted skippers. Jug clouded sulfur. Right down there. It's American Lady. Yeah, she's got the two spots, two big eyes.
Oh yeah. I just got it.
Painted Lady has 4 or 5 tiny spots. It's really 5, but often you can't see one of them. But yeah, that's one we hadn't seen before, American Lady today. Is the black butterfly. That is a male spice bush swallowtail. Notice the color blue on the top of the hind wing. It's that lighter, I hate to use the word duller, but a lighter blue than many of the other swallowtails, and that is the male spice bush. We mentioned earlier about the tiger swallowtail. There's one that's a bit beat up. I don't see any tails on it. but it is common and it is indeed a real beauty. Here we have a wild indigo dusky wing, this little brownish thing on the verbena with the spread wings. Notice it doesn't hold its wings like a skipper, hence it's got the flat wings. We call those dusky wings, and that's wild indigo dusky wing.
We encourage you to visit the garden, enjoy the flowers, and see what's flying. If you would like to improve your butterfly identification skills, here are two excellent guides. One is The Butterflies Through Binoculars, the East, by Jeffrey Glassberg, and a second one, a more recent release, is Butterflies of Pennsylvania, a field guide by James Monroe and David Wright. If you come out to look for the butterflies, the best time of day is from about 10:30 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. So finally, I would like to thank the volunteers who plant and maintain the garden, our club supporters, and the Upper Perk Y for making this garden a success.